Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now I do know what month we are in. I have a feeling that I'm a little bit delayed here, but I wanted to talk about some great summer recommendations when you're sitting by the pool, you're sitting at the beach, it's 100 degrees out, maybe you want to be inside reading, but you still want to get that summer feeling. I got you. Now, there's a lot of books that I want to talk about. I've been gone traveling for a whole month and didn't read one single book. Trust me, I know, it's crazy. I was rocking back and forth like SpongeBob. Like, I was having withdrawals. Don't get me wrong. Did I buy 4 books while I was on vacation and also bring my Kindle on vacation and didn't read a single thing? Yes, I did. But I'm just a girl. And I think... How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to do it by author. 2 authors have a series that I want to talk about. Well, technically 3, but we'll talk about it. So we're gonna jump right in since we're talking about obviously summer and what the epitome of summer is. Romance, teen romance, maybe a little love triangle going on, especially if they're brothers. And that is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I read this for the first time, my goodness, almost 3 years ago. I read each book in like a night, basically, maybe a night and a half. They are such easy reads. The TV show, I think, is a little bit better. There are cringy things, but overall, I think Jenny Han did a great series with this. This is the only series that I've read from her. I haven't read To the Boys I've Loved before, but when it comes to The Summer I Turned Pretty and the TV show, you know I'm Team Conrad. I will defend Conrad until the day I die. He is a great man. No, we're not gonna get started. We're not gonna start with this, okay? If you're lucky enough to have a beach house on the beach, walking distance to the ocean, you should read this. This is like you're living Belly's life. The concept of this series is Belly is a teenage girl who cannot make up her mind for the life of her. She just goes back and forth to these brothers that she's known her whole life because Belly's mom and the boys' mom are besties. Belly has always been in love with Conrad, but this one summer, she's like, oh, Jeremiah. And Jeremiah just is just like, oh yeah, I guess Belly's hot now. Conrad has always loved her. I know he has. You know what? Again, we're not going to talk about this. If you're not into teen romance, a little YA action, beach time, and you want the complete opposite, well, not complete opposite, I recommend a cowboy romance, small town, brothers and their friends. This is the series for you, which is the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. If Elsie Silver has no fans, I am dead. The first book in this series deals with a brother. His name is Rhett. He is he is a older bull rider, you know, kind of ending his career a little bit. He wants to get one last championship. However, he does and says some pretty reckless things, and his agent is like, we got to do some PR cleanup, you know? My daughter is going to babysit you and basically tell you what to say. And he's like, I don't want a babysitter, all this stuff. Is there a one-bed trope? Yes, there is. Is there forced proximity? Yes, there is. Is it forbidden romance? Yes, it is. If this interests you, it just gets better. Then we go on to Daddy Cade, and Cade is Rhett's brother. He is a grump, doesn't like anyone. He is super serious, and he has a son. He's looking for a nanny. It just so happens that Summer, the main character in the first book with Rhett, her best friend, she's a wild child. She's a woman. And she just kind of goes wherever the wind takes her. She becomes the little boy's nanny for Cade, and again, it's kind of like a forced proximity. It's forbidden, there's an age gap, but not intense, not like an inappropriate, not like a Penelope Douglas type age gap. It's an appropriate age gap. It's steamy. The next book in the series is Powerless. He is Jasper. He is the best friend to one of the brothers. He's grown up with the family, loves the family. He's like a son to the dad of the brothers, like a brother to the brothers. He is a hockey player. He is super introverted. Best friends with the brother's cousin, Sloane, who is a ballerina. She's a runaway bride, and Jasper helps her run away. There's again, like a forced proximity because they go on a road trip together. There's best friends to lovers type thing. So if that interests you, Jasper doesn't get enough credit. And, you know, when they say like the quiet guys, you know, this next book in the series I was kind of worried about because it's a accidental pregnancy romance. I'm not the biggest fan of was gonna say children, but I meant like accidental pregnancy type thing. Didn't think it would be my cup of tea, but I loved this. Theo is my second favorite. He is the prodigy bull rider to Rhett, who is in the first book, and he has a one-night stand with Summer's sister, Winter. He is obsessed with her. It's like he falls first and falls harder. It's a healing journey for both Theo and Winter. I think Winter has one of the greatest character development that I've ever read in a book, and I appreciate that because I did not like her at first. Did not like her at all. But the character growth that she went through in this book made her one of my favorites. The last one in the series is Bo. He is another one of the brothers. I think he kind of got the short end of the stick for this one. I think there were so many people that were so excited for him and his book that it kind of fell flat. Like, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I just didn't feel a connection really towards Bo and Bailey, which is the characters in this book. Bo is a military man. He's mentioned in the prior books in the series. Something goes wrong. He comes back. He has severe PTSD and he's trying to deal with it. And then you have Bailey. She is this outcast woman of the town. She's trying to get out of the town. And Bo and Bailey make a deal, or a bet, I guess. And it just kind of evolves from there. It is the last book in the series, so you have to, I mean, you don't have to read it, but I did, and I didn't mind it. It was lacking in a lot of things. Those are the two series that I want to talk about. The rest I'm going to do an author highlight. If you're interested in these books, read them if you want. Since we're talking about cowboys, I just want to mention Lila Sage, Done and Dusted. I have Swift and Saddled, haven't read it yet. I listened to the audiobook of this first. This was the first audiobook that I ever listened to on Spotify. I loved it. I thought it was very easy to listen to. It's very short, to the point. It made me giggle. It made me kick my feet. It's small town romance again. It's best friend's brother. No, it's brother's best friend. I'm dyslexic. I always mix those up. It's steamy. There's some steamy scenes. I never wanted a cowboy until Elsie Silver and Lila Sage came along. So that's all I'm gonna say. The next author I want to talk about is Carly Fortune. The first book that I read from her was her first ever book, and that was Every Summer After. I read this first. This book is compared to Love in Other Words. I'm not talking about Love in Other Words, just a disclaimer. I'm not gonna talk about Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren because I really actually don't see that book as like a summary book. For me personally, I see that more as like a cozy fall book. So I'm gonna leave that one out and then talk about this one instead. Every Summer After is also, I think, the first book that I read that was a dual timeline. So you start with the present time, something happens, and then there's a second chance romance. Also, you flash back every summer that the two main characters met each other. So I'm really not describing this correctly. Girl moves to cabin in the woods. Not scary kind, cozy kind. Neighbor, boy, and boy's family. Every summer, girl and parents go to cabin, spend time at cabin. Girl and boy become besties. Every summer, you get flashbacks of them growing up together, being best friends, their relationship, and then how it evolves into more than a friendship. You try and figure out also why it's a second chance romance, why they haven't talked in a while, what the heck happened. The ending kind of pissed me off when I found out why they didn't talk, but it's still really good. It's still an easy read. I think I read this in a day. The second book from Carly Fortune, Meet Me at the Lake, I hated. I think I gave it 2 stars. Not my favorite. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not gonna recommend it. My camera died. We're good now. The last book from this author is This Summer Will Be Different, and I actually haven't read this yet, so I'm not going to recommend it because I don't really know what it's about. I just know that it's best friend's brother romance, and I'm guessing it's another dual timeline because this author loves a good dual timeline. I heard great things about this. I haven't really heard that many bad things, so I'm excited to read this. Hopefully it'll be better than Meet Me at the Lake. The next author that I'm going to talk about is Hannah Grace, specifically Wildfire, which is the second book for Icebreaker. Icebreaker is not summary at all, but Wildfire is. It wasn't my favorite. I think the writing was very dull and it fell flat for me. I didn't really enjoy the female main character, and it kind of stinks because Anastasia in the first book annoyed me so much, and this girl annoyed me also. I don't know why she makes her characters like that, but also a lot of people like those characters. So for me, I just am not a fan so far of the female characters. Hopefully, I will enjoy the third book in the series because I'm pretty sure that that girl is a Swiftie. I'm just guessing because she's wearing a cardigan. It takes place at a summer camp. So Aurora and Russ meet at their college. Russ is on the hockey team. Aurora is just a random girl at the college. They have a one-night stand. School ends. They go off. It's summertime. But it just so happens that they re-meet at the summer camp they are both counselors at. It's okay. They both have daddy issues. I would still recommend it for summer camp vibes. It's an easy read, but it's not my favorite. The next author I want to talk about is K.L. Walther. The Summer of Broken Rules. I think this was my first summer book that I read last summer, and I gave this book 5 stars. It encompassed all around great summer vibes. This book is about a girl who lost her sister probably a year and a half ago. One of her cousins are getting married. They travel to Martha's Vineyard for the cousin's wedding. Part of this wedding, they are doing an assassin's game, which if you don't know assassin, it's basically like you have a person to quote unquote kill, and they use water guns, obviously. So you have a target, you shoot them, they're out of the game, and then you get that person's target. So whoever gets everyone out of the game, the last one standing, wins that game. I love that. I think it's like great summer vibes. It's outdoors, it's family, it's friends, it's healing, it's dealing with grief and processing it all. I really like this book. I think the only thing that I would knock down the 5 stars is the romance in this book. It was definitely insta-love. I literally mean like insta-love, like Instagram, because they were following each other on Instagram and like communicating through Instagram. And I didn't like that, but it's a YA romance. It's very cute, very wholesome, and I really did love this book. The next author I'm going to talk about is Taylor Jenkins Reid, the Malibu Rising book. Now again, it's not my favorite, but I want to recommend it because I did enjoy like half of the book. Another book with dual timelines. One chapter will be the kids when they were younger, and then their parents and their romance and how toxic that was. And then the next chapter, it'll be the kids grown up and them dealing with their own lives and their own difficult relationships and what they're going through. I think this book was just a little boring to me. I had high expectations because of what it was described. It's about a family of surfers. But the eldest, what is her name? I forgot her name. Nina. I related to her. The father in this book sucks. The thing that I did like was Taylor Jenkins Reid connects all of her characters. So the father in this book is actually one of the husbands to Evelyn Hugo. I remember reading this and I'm like, where did I hear the guy's name before? And then I realized it was 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and he was one of the husbands. And I was like, that makes sense because he's dirt. It is great, like surfer vibes. The way that it ended, I was not expecting. And I don't mean that in like, it was a great ending. What I expected, honestly, was better than the way that it ended, but I understand the ending and the way that it ended. It also takes place in like Los Angeles area, Malibu, obviously because of the title. The next author I want to talk about has 4 books. Well, she has 5, but I don't have the 5th. And that is Emily Henry. I just want to say she has more, but these are like her most popular ones. I recommend every single one of them. Each have their own summer vibe. Book lovers, I enjoyed this. People don't like this book. I actually really like this book. It's 2 people in the world of books. One's an editor, one is a agent. They meet. They don't have the best meeting. The way that they talk to one another is very unprofessional, but I enjoy it. They run into each other in a small town, super random. They both hate small towns. They both love New York. That's basically the plot of the book. Again, I enjoyed it. Was it my favorite? No. But did I crack up? Yes, I did. The next one is People We Meet on Vacation. This is probably my least favorite, but it's still good. Friends who go on vacation together every summer. They try and pick some random place to go to because the girl in this book, Poppy, she is like a blogger or travel blogger. It's dual timelines. You kind of flash back to when they would be on vacation together, and then you see that they don't really talk anymore and they haven't talked for a while, and Poppy wants to have this one last vacation or one vacation to kind of rekindle their friendship, but you can kind of feel like there's feelings between them a little bit. I just thought that they should stay friends. That's just me. The connection, the romantic connection that they had, I was not vibing with. I think it takes place in Palm Beach, or not Palm Beach, what is Palmdale? No, where Palm Springs. The next one is Happy Place. This book is so good. I understand why people don't like it. Very bad miscommunication trope in this book. Not a fan favorite, not a favorite of mine. But going past that, I did enjoy the found family, the found friendship within this book. This takes place at a friend's beach house. They all became friends in college. They have gone every summer to this beach house. However, they're older now and their lives have changed. They're in relationships. The house is getting sold and it's going to be their last final hurrah in this house all together. The romance in this, been engaged, however, no one knows that they actually broke off their engagement and they're not together anymore, so they kind of have to fake date during this whole vacation so they don't upset their friends. One bed trope also, second chance romance, forced proximity. It's great for women in their early 20s, realizing that sometimes friendships kind of go their own ways. In people's lives, you know, they go off and do other things and experience different things. They move away. Contact isn't consistent as it was before. This is a great book. I do recommend this book. Less for the romance, more of the found family, girlhood type friendship. The last book from Emily Henry that I want to recommend is my favorite, and that is Beach Read. I actually read this for the first time on the beach. Not the whole book, but like a few pages. I heard that it's getting made into a movie. Oh, also, let's talk about how Happy Place is gonna get made into a movie and J-Lo is behind it. No, thank you. Gus and January, they went to college together. They're kind of rivals. She's always seen him as a rival. They are both writers. She writes about romance. He writes about more of the gory nonfiction things. January doesn't like him. She's dealing with some family stuff. She goes to this beach house, and little does she know that the neighbor to her is Gus, and they're going to be spending the summer together. They make a little bet while they're living next to each other that January will write gory, dark books, and Gus will write romance books, and whoever's book does better wins this bet. And I don't know, it's like bragging rights. I don't really remember what the end goal is to this bet, but that's the bet. Top of the list, Beach Read. I very much recommend it. The next author I want to recommend is Tessa Bailey, and the one book is It Happened One Summer. I say the one book because I've read 2 other Tessa Bailey books and I'm not a fan of it. This is a little cringy, but I think what made it really good was the guy in this book. His name is Brendan. He is a fisherman. I never thought that I would fall for a fisherman, but here we are. Piper, I'm pretty sure, yeah, is the main girl. She's kind of like a fashion influencer in LA. She does something very scandalous, and her stepdad is like, yeah, your real dad was a fisherman in this small town. You need to go find your roots and figure life out. And so she's sent to this small fisherman town. She fixes up a bar and she meets Brendan. Brendan doesn't like her, thinks she's a rich, spoiled girl, and then he falls for her. But you know what? She has her problems. She has commitment issues. It's a whole thing. It is cringy, but it's very fast-paced and very enjoyable. I also listened to part of the audiobook, and I did like the audiobook probably better because you can kind of hear the dramatics and the theatrics and the voices. I do recommend this book. It is good fisherman vibes, great summer vibes, finding your roots. It's kind of like a fisherman Hannah Montana movie. The last author I want to talk about is Abby Jimenez, and that is Just for the Summer. I love this book. This is such a great summer book. Justin writes on a Reddit and was like, I'm cursed. My exes have found their true love after dating me. Emma, the main girl in this book, is like, oh my gosh, I relate to you because the same thing happened to me. So they come together, make a bet, and it's like, okay, just for the summer, we'll date and we'll do all of these criteria things, and then we'll break up and then we'll find our true love after. But things get complicated, feelings are developed, things get too hard. It's such a raw and real book dealing with romance, and if you're looking for a happy, summery book, this is not the one. It'll make you realize that love does exist, but it's work and it's hard work. All right, well, those are all of the summer books. I need my matcha because I feel like I talk too fast. Those are all the books that I wanted to recommend for this summer. I know we're in July. I know we are. But we still have time for summer and we still have time to read. So whatever tickled your fancy, I tried to cover different genres, different topics in books. I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you read any of these books. If you have read any of these books, let me know and your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platforms, I will have them all linked down below in the description. And I hope to be seeing you in the next video. Bye! Can I hold all of these books without it falling over? This is like an arm workout. We're still climbing. We're still... There's one on my head. Okay, this is cool. we're going down, and we're going down slowly. Yep,